I'm Lion.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes.
All right, so let's still dance the best DJ in the world. Like the music is kind of fun, but it's got a really short loop.
God, it's tiny.
It's tiny. Best DJ in the world. I know one song, and I will play it all night long. All right, but I made it myself, and damn, does it take a lot of work on the table, and I will do it every time. Click. Well, how is your other talent? Woo! Okay, so welcome. We're gonna figure out what how his other talent goes over, like a whole box of rocks.
Oh.
Right. I almost forgot. Having all this beautiful women around me made me forget the reason I brought you into this room, which wasn't the reason that I said I was bringing you into this room, but it was the reason I said that I wanted you to think I was bringing you into this room. I'm a little drunk. Gosh, I should make you a drink so you're not drunk.
Right. Jonathan picks up a few bottles of alcohol and begins to mix them because you just mixed alcohol.
No, he mixes the whole bottles.
Can you imagine how much fucking alcohol that is? Oh my god.
So that's why the giant pot's in the stove. He pours the entire bottle into the pot, and some more vodka, and add a little vodka, and here's some vodka. Just put in some vodka, a touch of vodka,
and more vodka. Oh my god.
Puts in, okay, so somebody wasn't very educated, and they just bought like 15 kinds of vodka. They didn't buy any variation at all. Right. He just mixes vodka together.
So I know sometimes this is a snobbery thing, but I've got to tell you, as somebody, whenever I've drunk alcohol before, I have to admit, like, just having like a straight alcohol for the most part is not usually all that interesting to me, unless it's typically like one of those like special it's your liqueurs or whatever the fuck. Because I gotta say, most alcohol tastes like ass.
It doesn't have
all right, everybody who's like, oh, you just gotta get juice to beer. I'm like, that's called Stockholm syndrome. Screw you.
Oh my god, I was saying. Additionally, like the people that I have been around who have done more alcohol, the snobbery doesn't make any sense to me because I have no connection to it. Like, I appreciate that you might like Patron Silver or Patron Gold and you're like, it is the best, like, I think tequila in the world. And I'm like, one, I have no idea if it's the best tequila in the world. Two, I don't know what that means. And three, enjoy yourself. You don't have to be snobby, just buy what you like.
Yes.
Like, fine. It's fine.
Also,
right. He mixes the entire bottles together. Just glass and everything.
Right?
He mixes the whole bottle.
All the bottles.
Oh, no. He doesn't. He just starts pouring the bottles back and forth between each other, mixing the bottles.
Oh, God. And then there's this Grey Goose vodka, and here's this vodka, and here's this vodka.
I poured this bottle halfway into this bottle, poured this bottle halfway into the third bottle, poured this bottle into a fourth bottle, poured it back into the first bottle. Somebody going, shit, now they're all mixed up. What are you fucking doing?
Because he didn't decide to get any glasses out. He just decided to mix bottles.
To mix the bottles.
Yeah. Oh, he looks almost like a pro, despite his age.
And again,
even though, again, Bern has no fucking context and has no idea.
Do we know what a pro drink mixer looks like? Why do we have that knowledge?
We wouldn't.
Or we could just go, he almost looks like a pro. Again, super naive going, he looks so professional from my experience.
He looks confident as well. Like,
there's some people, he looks so cool.
Where you just watch them. Like, I knew somebody in school, it was super fucking funny, where he was just like, I will bullshit my debate class by talking about cookies.
Yep.
He did it, and everyone's just like, that was the stupidest fucking, like, debate you just came up with, that, like, we had to come up with basically things to argue about, right? And he decided to argue about cookies. And it was so fucking dumb when you actually looked at his substance of where he just came up with it on the spot, but he did it in such a confident way that we all were just like, yeah, okay, that was really bad. But it was also just like, you are full of so much shit, Nick, what the fuck?
But the confidence is
key.
Confidence is key.
Yes.
Okay, so in this case, if you were writing this and you wanted to essentially fix that experience, instead of mixing bottles, you could say he begins to mix a drink, or he begins to mix the alcohol. Like, you could say it any other way. You're not mixing the bottle, so it's really just one statement in there that sort of ruins that experience.
I mean, it sounds funny. I also thought it'd be interesting to have, because especially your character has never seen this before, right? We're assuming Bern really hasn't. Like, I think this is weird. Because I started mixing like a pro. You don't know what it looks like.
I have done things in front of people occasionally. So I have a weird ability to be really good at things the first time I do them. Like, that is generally when I approach something and I've never done it ever before, there's no anxiety, there's no pressure, I usually kick ass at it.
Right.
Okay? If I've never done it ever before, and then people go, wow, you're amazing. Have you ever done this before? But I've also had people be like, oh my God, you're so professional, or like, you're so good at that. And they've never seen anyone else do it before. And I say, really? Have you ever done this? No. Have you ever been around one of these? No, but you looked amazing. Like, people will just say, you look like a pro when they have nothing to compare you to.
Yeah, that's
what
true.
they mean is you look confident and like you know what you're doing,
Right.
or what I assume a pro would look like.
Right, which is exactly what I was saying, again, that thing of going, your character's an unreliable narrator, like a lot of people actually are, because they just look like pros. You're like, you do not know what a pro even
And
looks
again,
like.
going, so yeah, your language, your unreliable narrator doesn't have to be even someone who doesn't know, it's just someone who's describing things poorly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. All right.
Looks like a pro despite his age.
Also, why are we comparing it to his age?
Kayla whispers in my ear. Kayla, you're spitting on me.
Oh, sorry. I was really urgent. I was desperate. What are you doing? Watching him mix a drink?
What?
Standing in a kitchen at a party.
With my friend, and you're here with me.
Uh-huh.
And we're watching a guy mix a drink professionally.
Yeah.
Right?
So the level of her being stressed out is going, this implies so much
Something's
knowledge
going on.
that we don't have, like assuming one will drink the drink, assuming that she assumes will drink the drink, assuming he's mixing the drink for us to drink the drink. What are you doing? Watching him make his drink. So I'm like, the level of, we haven't brought the reader in on really what's going on here, or who anyone is. And that can be a thing. You could just be like, you're just getting pushed through these events. You really aren't supposed to connect much yet, or have much anchor yet, because it's supposed to be more of a being dragged through, which is which is Burns' experience, other character, other game. I would say, which is Burns' experience, because what she is being really passive to all this and hoping for the best. So they might be trying to create an atmospheric piece here, but I don't feel like that much thought went into it.
I mean, it's possible though too. Sometimes your friend is really like jumping to conclusions. There are characters that shock and surprise will not tell you obviously what they're thinking to the other character. Like they'll be like, I don't care. I'm not going to be having this huge long conversation. I am defensive of my friend, or I'm just defensive because they know that your character doesn't drink alcohol, so they're going to go, to my friend, why would you be doing this? And it seems very abrupt sometimes to somebody who's not in on this. But I feel like we've been kind of informed. I'm guessing, honestly, Kayla's going, she's assuming. She's jumping down your character's throat, as it were. Yeah. And like, what are you doing? Because they're assuming that we're going to drink it.
Right. And that this is for us, and also whatever with a boy.
Or that Burns going to drink it.
And also an experience with a boy.
What do you mean?
Yes, yes. Are you going to drink?
You said you were never going.
Burn, we're underage.
I shoot her a serious look.
I shoot her. Pow.
Bang, bang. I shot you down. My baby shot me down.
The most serious of looks shoots me down.
I thought you were in the party animal in our duo.
Okay, yes, so I go to more parties and I'm more experienced than you, which means I know how to take care of myself better. Not that I do irresponsible things.
It's also possible that like your level of party animal might literally be like, I know how to party without getting drunk.
Exactly.
The level of like, sometimes I get offended where some people are like, they're a huge party animal, and they're like, I don't drink, I just have a fun time. Like there's a weird assution that sometimes I feel like people really do have of going, you have to go to a party, you have to drink.
Or if
so
you're
I'm going to tell you here
animal,
and now, this is your whatever the fuck non-gendered, aunt-uncle combination, a scandal telling you if you go to a fucking party, my dudes, you do not have to drink. And if any you ever feel uncomfortable or you ever feel like you don't want to do something, feel free to say no and back out. Right? Just because you said yes once does not mean that you have to always say yes.
It's true.
You can withdraw your consent or your interest at any point at any time.
In the same way, like, that you can go to a party that has a pool and go, I don't feel like swimming. Right? You go to a party that has alcohol and go, I don't feel like drinking. And you don't need to justify it with anyone going, why or come on. Going, this is how I feel. Oh, well, why do you feel that way? Do you want to have a serious conversation, or do you want to just go back to the party?
Right?
This is fine.
You do not have to justify it. Now, again, it might be a good thing to examine why you've had that reaction, but it's not necessarily always, like, all the time to do it all the time in all the moments.
It's not necessary
We
at all.
like to advocate mindfulness and being aware of yourself, but really, there's nothing wrong sometimes, especially with stuff like this, I find, to just be like, if you want to say no, please say no.
And you don't have to know why. That's one of those things, again, and like, no is a complete sentence kind of thing.
Yes.
It's been attributed to many, many people, that statement.
Yes.
Like, there are so many people that are, it's been quoted to this person, but the thing is no is a complete sentence. Someone, what, do you want this? No. And they say, why? You're like, just no.
Right.
Like, that is, and if you don't always know why. So sometimes when I turn things down, or when I say, I don't want to do that, there's a reason that I'm not necessarily remembering or that I can't connect to. And it's not even that. It's just, it could just be your emotional state. I don't want to.
Right.
But sometimes it's also like someone's like, hey, let's do fill in the blank. And you're like, no. And it's because you're trying to remember something on your to-do list, but you don't even know you're trying to remember something on your to-do list.
Right.
You're just going, in my brain, this doesn't feel right.
Right.
And whatever that reason is, it's okay to go with that.
However, again, as we talk about for being mindful and figuring yourself out and basically doing a lot of self-examination, you actually can very easily come up with a lot of those answers as you go along. It's a learning process. As you start to learn how to self-examine and learn who you are to yourself, and learning what sets you off, what your triggers are, the things that squick you or make you unhappy or make you happy, or things that interest you or whatever it is, you'll be able to understand your reasoning very, very quickly.
More and more often. And then again, you don't need to justify yourself. You don't need to pass anyone else's gatekeeping, but it helps you know who you are.
Right.
All right.
And also in that sense of going, like, learning how to say no is also very important, especially because, like, at least for as far as we know in the United States, there are a lot of people who get really fucking pushy because they go, why won't you come into work? Like, especially with bosses. Like, the thing that bothers me the most is, like, people go, you're not allowed to say no, and you have to give a reason to your boss.
Yes.
You do not have to. Legally, you do not fucking have to.
Yep. If you call off, you could just say, I'm not coming into work. Why? Because I'm not coming into work. Yes, and the thing is that's okay. But that's one of those things too, where employers will often treat you differently in their emotional space, because we'd like to think they're all impartially emotional machines that just treat you all completely equally, but it's not true. And if you call off for work from a reason that doesn't feel connected to them, a lot of times they will have a more negative emotional judgment against you, even if they don't mean to. It will spark a bias in them.
Yes.
Okay, so.
But I thought you were the party animal in our duo.
Yeah. I'm a big mouth, okay? Are you seriously going to drink?
Before I can give her an answer, Jonathan serves us 3 Cosmopolitans.
I know exactly what they are, but
Holy shit.
Isn't a Cosmopolitan a martini, not a cocktail?
Hang on. I
don't even know.
Hang on. Now I have to look up, but you were going to say something else real fast.
I was going to say, is her saying I'm a big mouth basically going, yes, I was trying to sound like I'm more experienced than I am. I was wondering if that's what that line was. Of, I'm a big mouth, okay, going, I've made myself sound more experienced than I am.
Look, it's vodka.
Is it?
It's a vodka. All right, so hang on. So really quickly.
Is it a cocktail?
Cosmopolitan cocktail? It does say it is a cocktail, so... Okay. I'm like,
so yes,
they're
cocktails.
very classy and they're very stereotyped in terms of like, here's your big red, martini glass kind of drink.
Okay.
Basically, or your cocktail drink.
So I'm thinking that, so I didn't catch that very well as far as like her going, I'm a big mouth, but I assume that's what that is.
I'm also giggling going
I was
like,
trying to make myself look more experienced.
You can also make Cosmopolitans with various different ingredients, so they're not always going to be the same. I obviously have not drunk actually a ton of Cosmopolitans. I usually was like, I'm just gonna not go to bars because I personally don't like bars, so also, I can't always answer those questions.
Saying I can mix drinks is not the same as going, I'll mix a drink for you.
Right.
Let me show you my other skill doesn't mean you have to partake in this skill.
I know.
You know what I do for a living? I'm an extreme mixed martial arts, participant. I want to show you my other skill and beat the shit out of you.
Right. Yeah, no.
Actually, no. You know what? No.
No.
Don't show me your skill.
Thank you.
If it has to be enacted on me, you can show me it over there.
Right.
I will look at it.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great.
I will look at your skill.
Cheers,
ladies.
Okay, so we are actually underage. So that's the only thing.
They did say we're 18.
No. But like that, we also cannot drink alcohol.
For the country. Yes. So we've established we're in a location where 18 is not the drinking age.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Here we go.
Okay.
Cheers.
She grabs one glass and gulps it down in no time.
So
what?
He hands us both a glass and she grabs one. One glass seems superfluous. She grabs hers, she grabs one. Like, you don't need to specify glass, they're in glasses.
Right.
Like, that feels a little bit weird. Or she grabs the glass, because specifying either the number or the glass suggests that she's doing what she's doing. But when you put both of them there, it sounds so specific. Instead of grabbing 2 and shoving them both down her face, instead of grabbing something in a paper cup,
I was about to say, grabbing a glass is fine.
Like
she grabs a glass.
A glass. It doesn't have to be one glass.
Or it could be, she grabs one of the glasses, which is very long and drawn out, and that's why I say she grabs a glass would be fine.
Right, so you either need a little bit more or a little bit less here, in my opinion. All right.
Kayla, I thought you said I hold her up just in case something happens to her.
She's standing there perfectly fine drinking. I grab her and hold her up. Whoa!
If you know anything about... Oh God, you want to talk about like alcohol that bugs? Okay, so I hate basically alcohol, reading people, read about
alcohol.
People, how they write like people getting drunk in books. It pisses me off so much because I'm like, I drank an entire bottle of wine. I had 3 margaritas and I did this thing, which is about
I'm such a lightweight. I'm tipsy, and you're going,
holy shit, that is not a lightweight experience at all. So if you don't know, most people really can't handle that much. That's ridiculous.
So
holy shit.
drinking an entire bottle of wine to prep themselves for a night out drinking or prior to a night out drinking, that's pretty intense.
One of the reasons I'm bringing it up is my biggest complaint, actually, for a significant portion of 50 Shades of Grey
was the alcohol
content in the beginning. Like, so when I read it for the brief period of time that I read it, because I didn't finish it because I couldn't stop laughing at it. But it was really like, I literally call it, my friend was like, holy fuck! She literally drank an entire bottle of wine and had like 3 margaritas and then had something else and then bitched about the fact that she was such a fucking lightweight. She throws up once and she's completely sober.
Yep.
I'm like, you do not know how alcohol works. So please, if you're gonna write this shit, people usually, in my experience, also will be like, I have one thing. They do not immediately fall over drunk as ass that they cannot stand up straight. So yes, it can hit you pretty hard.
It makes me think of that Vine where somebody, it really is,
oh God, yes!
Vine. They grab a joint, they suck in really hard, they're just... and then immediately, I am so goddamn high.
Right.
But that's how they do it in
the movies. Yes.
In the same way that you drink a beer or half a beer in the movies. And there's no timestamp, so it seems like you just finished it, and then you're running out on the dance floor drunk. Or you take one shot with your friend, and you're completely smashed, running out of the drug floor, instantly drunk.
Yes.
And it's like it doesn't, like your body doesn't, they're not neurotoxic.
There's also the thing, too, that you've got to realize as well in relation to alcohol, especially if you're really well hydrated and you've eaten food, it doesn't hit you nearly as hard or necessarily hit you as quickly. So if you're super dehydrated, guess what? Yeah, you will get hit much harder by alcohol. There's also some alcohols, because bodies are different, your body will actually react to differently. Some people actually have allergic reactions to alcohol and it hurts them, but it's also sometimes specific types of alcohol that they react badly to, and other ones they react fine to.
Anyway, you don't need to go overboard with your research. Again, keeping things basic if you're writing this kind of a game or if you're approaching this kind of subject matter can really help, but think about what you're doing, because every detail you add does describe the character's experience, and it is one of those things where you can lose. I talk about losing suspension of disbelief without knowing why. If you know more about the subject matter than they do, and they make a faux pas, if they make a mistake, you can lose your suspension of disbelief in a story or your investment feeling without having connection to why it is.
Right.
Because you know, but you don't know explicitly, so you just kind of feel it and keep reading, and but you're not in as much.
Yeah, and you kind of have this thing going, it took me out of the story for a while. Yeah.
And the thing is you don't know what did it. You're just like, I didn't really like that scene.
Yeah.
Or this chapter really bogged me down.
Right.
And then it's good to, again, try and figure those things out. All right.
I hold her up just in case something happens to her. He's never drunk before. Now that I suddenly find out after she confesses to me, basically going like, holy shit. And you're like, maybe I made an assumption, but I won't think about that it was my assumption that I made about my friend of going that there's a stereotype with being a party animal.
And also,
at all.
Again, this is Byrne showing like the fact that she's really extreme, really naive kind of thing. To me, the way I'm reading this is going, you're the party animal, and going, oh my God, she's never drunk before. Like the extreme dichotomy on the spectrum is really, really quickly. And again, going, you are really exaggerating your experiences super hard in this thing.
Right.
And you are really going, I fully commit to everything. And I tend to say that I'm going to say in sort of like an immature kind of way. Not to say bad immature, but just an inexperienced kind of way of going, I don't consider the fact that there's a range. It's either A or B, or it's either 1 or 100. There is no in between.
There's also the thing that I sometimes get frustrated about in regards to some stories where there really are some people who are just like, I've already drunk alcohol before and I'm a minor, basically, and they're like, but the thing is that I drank in a sanctioned way, basically, with my parents.
Or with my parents' adult supervision that was okay.
Right, that was okay, that was vetted, again, though, by your guardian / your parents. Like, there's genuinely some people who really, alcohol drinking is no big deal at all. And they're just like, God, people are so dumb about it. Because you realize, going like, that's a stereotype, and in some way, they've talked about it actually psychologically speaking, where because, especially in the United States, like if you, at least for me, like what I feel like what I see all the time is because people put such a huge emphasis on alcohol, more people are more inclined to try to abuse it as much as possible because they go, it's the thing that you can do when you're 21! Bah!
And it's the only thing. Like, it's the only thing stopping you from being the real adult.
And you're like, you do not need to wreck yourself. Holy
and also,
shit.
like, it's not a, like, it doesn't have to be any kind of badge of honor. Like, my 21st birthday was really weird for me because I was mostly in the company of strangers, and the people at my job found out, oh, it's your 21st birthday, we've got to take you out. And I had, like, a couple of people buy me essentially obligatory shots, going, this is a special gift for your birthday.
Right.
And I'd never really drank alcohol other than to essentially try it because, you know, my dad drank a lot of beer and stuff and I never liked the flavor ever. So I just horked these down and just like, okay, thank you, because I don't want to be rude. And it doesn't, unfortunately, I seem to have a high alcohol tolerance because it did nothing to me. Like, at all. I took like 3 shots and I was like, cool, peace, I'm done. But I also didn't realize that's what we were going to a bar even for. Like, we'll celebrate your birthday. I didn't even realize the tradition of we'll make you drink or help you drink. I had very little connection to it. Now, I had gone to bars that allowed, you know, 18 plus in them before and just had the X on my hand and you order, you know, like plain drinks and going. I went there to play pool. And the thing is for the most part, like, I'm, again, not into the bar scene or really comfortable with it, but it was a weird experience to find out the thing that makes you 21 is when you shove alcohol down your throat. And I'm like, the birthday happens anyway. We're okay.
There seems to be such an extreme reaction around it. Anyway, I know it's also probably a personal preference thing, but I just get frustrated basically of the level of almost like demonization and then also extreme glorification of it. Like, again, that really strong dichotomy. There's not much of basically either a balanced or just sort of like, hey guys, let's be kind of neutral about this, because the more extreme of a reaction you actually blow up about it, you can create an equal and really explosive opposite reaction. So they actually talk about it in relation to, so I'm going to roll this around and I'll end this really quickly, but in relation to, so like where I was growing up, I grew up in an extremely Republican household, As a kid. My family's very conservative Christian. I am not. I am definitely not. So they talk about actually that's the thing that psychologically though happens, especially in very extreme cases. A lot of people extremely, they basically do a thing that's a pendulum swing. So here's your pendulum, It's lifted all the way up with its weight on the end, and then when you let the pendulum go, when suddenly your kid goes out and does whatever they want to do, and people go, oh God, you completely changed. It's like, yeah, because you either soured me on it so hard, or basically I was trying to be anything except you. So, anyway, thank you very much then, guys, for joining us. We're going to be back here again next time, I guess, with underage drinking. So, hey! Thank you very much for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, please, if you like what we do, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon. We got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!